watching Chopping It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
All right, we are back for another exciting episode of Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White. Of course, I'm Perry White. He's the man, the myth, the legend himself, my man, Coach Roger Cador. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Perry. Morning.
Hope everybody's having a good week out there, man, as we getting started on this Tuesday. And hey, if we got any issues, man, in technical or anything, please let us know in the chat if the sound or visuals, whatever, so, you know, we can do our best in order to make the adjustments. But, you know, Coach, as we get ready to get started, man, first of all, it's been a week since we last did the show. How's your week been going?
My week is going really good. You know, it's good. Southern won again. And they clinched the West, which is a pretty good achievement. Terrence Gray's first year as a head coach and being able to take a team that was a little maybe in disarray, you know what I'm saying? Put them together and they went on and won. Now, the thing the players got to understand, they're far away from the SWAC championship. It ain't in their hand. Don't celebrate too soon that you won the West. Remember, the goal at the beginning of the year was to win the SWAC. Winning the West is just a part of it, you got me? So I like to, you know, as a coach, I try to always tell my team what is our goal. Our goal is to win the conference. And you don't let them forget that. The conference championship, don't let them forget that. So you stay on them and you remind them. Because people have a tendency to celebrate prematurely. They hadn't won so long, they want to take the West and say, we the champion. And we got to be careful.
Yeah, Coach Terrence Graves talked to Garrett and I last week about that, saying, I believe it was in 2004, Southern had wrapped up and won the West, but then went to the Bayou Classic. They ended up losing to Grambling before they headed to the SWAC championship. And he said that upset him because, you know, we lost focus as a team, and that's what he was talking about with this team. You know, let's not talk about a division championship. Let's not talk about a conference championship. Let's just talk about the next game, because you can't overlook anybody. The goal is to win every game and to go 1-0 each and every week. And so I think that was one of the things with him, with this team, where they almost lost focus against Bethune-Cookman in that 5 overtime game, because it seemed like you look at the record, sometimes you look at the record of a team and you don't take them as serious. And Bethune-Cookman came in with only 2 wins, and guess what? They pushed Southern harder than any other team in the conference this year. And then getting them back on track and then saying, all right, here go another team in Pine Bluff, come in with a record just as similar to Bethune. Let's go ahead and seal the deal and close it out. And they were able to do that. So now you get a bye week, you get opportunities, get that all out your system. Then you come back, because with a rivalry game, we all know with Grambling, you throw the records out. No matter who's good or who's bad, that game right there, you never know who's going to win it down in New Orleans.
It's going to be a tough game. I agree with you. You don't know who's going to win. And that's the thing. I just hope that the kids listen to the coaches, the information that they're giving them, and use that blueprint, you know what I'm saying? To go out and build a championship package to win the game against Grambling. I tell you what, you know, Grambling had some turbulent moments this year with the coach being fined twice and saying that the officials are cheating against him. I worry about that game because he might find a way to motivate the kids in a way they probably hadn't been motivated all year. So that's something to think about. But if I was Coach Graves, I would be telling my kids, hey, we've done it all year. We played really tough ball toward the end of the game. We went in overtime, we won, we didn't break. We like the old Washington Redskins. We bend, George Allen team, we bend, but we didn't break. And that's what they did. They bent and they didn't break.
Yeah, you know, you're looking at Grambling. Coach Mickey Joseph took over their program. They fired Hugh Jackson last year, and he named 2 former Southern coaches as his coordinators. You got Jason Rollins, who was the interim coach the year Odoms left in 2021, his defensive coordinator now at Grambling. And then once Rollins left and they brought in Coach Dooley, Dooley stayed for a year and a half before Southern let him go, and now he's Grambling offensive coordinator. So That program is going to know Southern very well with both those coordinators. And then you look at Mickey Joseph, who was right here in Baton Rouge for some time in his career, right down the road at LSU. So it's going to be an affair of both teams knowing each other well, because this entire coaching staff outside of Fred McNair all coached with Coach Dooley last year here at Southern as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're talking about the staff here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking you're saying that Grambling. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Grambling has more Southern ties than we do of Grambling ties.
Yeah, we don't want Grambling ties.
But, you know, you're right about that, keeping the team focused, the task at hand, because I'm pretty sure you've wrapped up some regular season championships before the season was over, you know, and just letting guys know, hey, it still matter every game after that.
We did a lot of them. And all of them were different, and they were challenging. And for me to keep the guys motivated and focused, it's just not as easy. People think it's easy. Mm-hmm. Remember, you're dealing with people, and what do people have? Problems. Mm-hmm. Young people have problems. They got family problems. They got girlfriend problems. They may have academic problems. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, so you got to manage those things. You got to manage them. They are important that you manage. This is why you got to pay close attention. You don't want to be too far away from your team. You want to stay and see if somebody's mood have changed. Mm-hmm. Mood tell you something is going on, a change in the mood, you know? So you can counsel them and give them some consultation. I mean, it's just things that a coach can do, he can recognize, and can make things so much better for his players.
Mm-hmm. How do you keep a team from getting beside themselves? You know, just you win something, but you still haven't gotten to the end goal, because, you know, there's a such thing as the regular season championship, but you still got to win your tournament. There's a such thing as winning your Western Division, but you still got to play in the championship against the Eastern Division champion. Just keeping you from getting beside yourself, thinking that small goal ultimately overshadows the end goal.
Well, with some people, the small goal is the ultimate goal. They don't give a damn. Mm-hmm. I got the West, I'm happy. You know, and you'll be surprised how many people think that way. Mm-hmm. You know, not understanding you work that hard to get where you are in just 2 more weeks. You done worked 4 months. Work 2 more weeks and you're going to get there. You're getting in your ultimate goal, win a championship. I mean, that's big to win a championship, man. I don't care if it is in the SWAC or the SEC. LSU goal is to win the SEC championship. That's really what their goal is. They start out the season. You got me? Because that's an accomplishment. Now, they got more things on the line than Southern and a lot of other schools in the country. You know, you want to finish in the top 12 so you can be a part of the playoff package. You got me? But their ultimate goal is to win the SEC. Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. What year in your coaching of baseball did you win the SWAC championship, your first one?
Should have won it the very first 2 years we played for the championship.
Tell me about those first 2 years then, if you can recall where, you know, you came up short.
Well, you know, I'm not going to say the first year. We had Grambling. Grambling was playing, and Grambling, we were outmanned by Grambling, so they were good. They beat us.
That was in year 2 or year 1?
Well, year 1, they 85. Okay. Year 2, we had Jackson State literally beat. And back then, they could have, for your DH, you could have a courtesy runner. Mm-hmm. So I had a courtesy runner for my designated hitter. And Adele Davenport hits a ball a mile out of the park. A mile literally out of the park. The umpire said that the guy was trying to low five one of my players and he missed home plate. You know how hard that is to have for that guy to see that, or if that happened? Mm-hmm. Well, he called him out. Took a run off the board. And Jackson scratched and scored 2 runs and tied it up. And then beat us in in the bottom of the ninth or top of something in the ninth inning. So that was really a rude awakening that you got a chance to win the championship in your second year and you lose it that way. You know what I'm saying?
What do you learn as a young coach in losses that are so close like that help build character? Because we often talk about building the character for the team and the players, but as a coach, because I use that same thing because Terrence Graves in year one of being a head coach, he's been a well-seasoned coach, but as a head coach, what did you learn in defeat in that championship game?
First, there's a limit on how much you can trust players. There's a limit on how much you can trust them. I'm telling you, the one thing I know, you sit there and you hear them talk, there are some wild things that are being discussed, you got me? And the fantasy, and so there's a limit on how much you can trust them. I wouldn't trust any of them guys, I'm telling you. It's just like a relief pitcher. Would you bring anybody into relief pitch? Okay. Or designated hit? Okay. So that's the thing I learned as a young coach. Put a limitation on how much you're going to trust players. You can't trust them. You can't trust them. They're the same they're the same people in real life. How much trust can you put in people? You got me? And they're younger and more immature. So that's what it is, PJ.
So year two, you get to that championship, you lose. Jackson, of course, a rival, scratches it out, edges you out. But then you come back the third year. What was it that turned the tide for you guys to finally get there and that you learned throughout that season, like, all right, this is it for us?
Well, I went out and got some better players.
That always helps,
Always helps. Went there and got some really good players in that 87 team. Remember, most of the guys I've got that 87, I got them in 86 to play the 86 season. We should have won then, but we won 87, beat Cal State Fullerton, won 88, had Texas on the hook until the ninth inning in the regional. So we really had, that's why I said I went out and got some good players. We had some really, really good players, I really hit the recruiting trail hard and got lucky. I was all over the place, no money. I was following a legendary scout named Doug Gastaway. Doug Gastaway was a legendary scout. He used to have trials, and I asked him, could I follow him? He said, as long as you don't tell them I'm the lazy son of a gun. I said, I won't never do that, Doug. They're not going to be out here, I'm out here. I follow him. I was following him everywhere he went, and that's how I got most of them players.
That was the secret to your early success right there?
Go following the guy who knows talent and had an appreciation for black kids. And he was going to make sure black kids were at his tryout. He couldn't take them all, you got me? So I was picking some off the tree. That's my secret.
You get that championship, you beat Cal State Fullerton. You got to be on cloud 9 to realize here's everything this hard work that paid off. These young men bought into the system, and we got something here at Southern.
I knew we had something when I first started because it was about recruiting. And I knew I had recruited some players. We didn't have a field. We didn't have equipment. We had nothing. But for some reason, Perry, those kids bought into what I said. They believed me. And they came. Can you imagine you get those kind of kids and you beat not good school for them, and you don't even have a field? You don't have the equipment?
Because these days, that wouldn't fly.
No, it wouldn't fly.
Yeah. That's what they looking for, facilities and
equipment. I couldn't. But I came along at the right time, just toward the end of the renaissance of the really good black players going to college, okay? I came at the end of that renaissance, and I finished it out. By the time I finished it, it was all over. You know, in numbers, what black kids who can really play go to college, HBCUs rather. They're not doing that anymore.
What was the attention like? You beat Cal State Fullerton, then the next year, as you said, you had Texas on the ropes. I mean, everybody looking at who is this school, where are they from, all black coach. We haven't seen this before because you were the first HBCU to even beat a team as of the caliber of Cal State Fullerton in a regional. So it's like, all right, what is going on here?
Well, the key was he has good players. I keep going back to it. We had players.
Yeah.
You couldn't even compete against those guys unless you had good players. You got me? And we had good players, and we were going to compete with anybody. It didn't matter who.
And that's why I'm asking, because these places have the facilities and the equipment, and you don't have anything. So they had to turn heads like, you know, what's going on in Baton Rouge? Who is this guy? Who is this program?
Oh, they knew that I was a go-getter. You know, I was really, and the basketball came out in me when I was recruiting baseball, because in basketball you have to be tenacious in recruiting, you know, and I was really, really good at it. Work hard, go get them, knew how to talk to them, and I knew the one element was my weapon. I could talk to their mamas. The mamas would listen to me, and I had them. And I knew that was a big plus for me, so I used it. I did not use it to take advantage of anybody.
Yeah.
I took advantage of the thing to recruit that kid. That was the advantage I took advantage of.
You think with your pride in recruiting and the excitement that you got out of it, that was kind of the lack of with other coaches around the league at that time building programs, with the lack of resources, maybe looking at too much of what we don't have instead of just saying, I'm going to work with what I do have?
Well, I'm not going to say that, because a lot of them talked to me about recruiting, and I pretty much told them what they had to do to recruit, you know. I don't think that, you know, some of them work hard, but you got to understand, some of the coaches were frustrated with the school, lack of support, you understand? They said, rather than put 60 hours, I'm going to put 45 hours in. You got me?
Yeah.
Where I put the 60 or 70 hours. I'm going to take a quote from that I listened to the old Lefty Drizel. Y'all don't know who Lefty Drizel is. He was a Maryland basketball coach, recruited Lynn Byers.
Okay.
The old Lefty made a quote way back in the 80s. And old Lefty said, coaches like me and you, they don't want us to be successful. We go out and work them guys because they just want to go and work an hour and go think they're going to see a player take him and go home. You got me? Said players, people like you and I, we outwork them. They don't want that. Yeah. So they're going to put rules in place that's going to put us in a box. I'd be damned if Lefty wasn't correct. They put us in a box.
What happened?
Well, they put rules in place. You limit you on how long you can recruit. Yes, you know there's limits. So they put rules in place and saying you couldn't recruit 7 days a week or something, whatever the rules were. I can't remember all of them. You know, but they put them in place. And it killed the old Lefty and I. You know, and now, let me just say this. I wasn't one of them guys who stayed on the road all the time because my wife wasn't going to let me do that. But I took advantage of the Saturdays and Sundays in the summertime when I could. You know, I very seldom recruit away from home in the weekdays. You got me? It would always be a drive and come back. You got me? My away recruiting was on the weekend. That's when I did them. So.
And we talked about all that because it was how you built the program and how long it took to win a championship, getting the taste of a championship, and then keeping the team focused. And with Southern right now on the football side winning the Western Division, you still got a big rivalry game with Grambling. Then you got the SWAC championship December the 7th against Jackson State, and then after that you got the Celebration Bowl. So they're taking one game at a time. And then even for Jackson this past week, it was tough for them not to overlook Alabama State, in which a game it was close fought, 16-10. I mean, they even had to pull one out just to get it done. And they have solidified the SWAC Eastern Division title. But just like Southern with a rivalry game, they have one this weekend with in-state rival Alcorn, and is on the road at Alcorn. So they have to remain focused too. But they're going to have some players suspended heading into that ball game because of an altercation that they had with Alabama State at the end of the game. And that's something similar that happened to FAMU. They had an altercation at the end of the game with Prairie View after that loss on the road at Prairie View, and they just lost this weekend to Mississippi Valley. It snapped a 23-game home win streak at Bragg Memorial, and also for Valley, it snapped a 15-game losing streak. So it matters when you make these decisions after the game that ultimately affect the next game, because for Prairie View and FAMU lost that next game, in which nobody thought it would be against a winless Valley. Prairie View lost their game against Alcorn this past weekend, and then now with Jackson and Alabama State, Jackson in the altercation with them, going to lose some players headed into their game with Alcorn this weekend.
That's why I tell you, you can't trust those players all the time. They think about themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't think about the team and the program, or their fellow teammates, you know what I'm saying, who worked hard to be in this position. You know, and I used to caution my players all the time. Know who the problem boys are. Don't let them get out of control. Don't let them do something to hurt what we've worked to build. You know Joe Blow is a head case. Watch him, stay close to him. You know, and you have to tell your players that. Emotion with young people get high. And it takes somebody say something out of the way to them. You got me? That's it. Yeah, may say, your mama is ugly. I mean, which, some guys get mad about that. The guy doesn't even know his mother.
Especially if you're on the losing end of anything, is going to be making you sensitive in the moment.
Yeah, some guys say a few things out there.
Yeah.
And so you got to make sure that people who understand things say, man, only words, stick and stones may break my bones, but words doesn't hurt.
That's old school right there.
Old school.
That's old school. Yeah. Let me ask, as a coach, and you looking at this, right? Coach Bubba McDowell at Prairie View, Coach Colsey at Florida A&M. This past week, Coach T.C. Taylor at Jackson State. Coach Eddie Robb Jr. at Alabama State. What would you say to those guys? And then Coach Trey Oliver and Larry Scott at North Carolina Central and at Howard, because they had an altercation. That altercation with suspension can also hurt North Carolina Central in their upcoming game, because they still can play for an at-large bid in the FCS. What would you say to those coaches to let them know, or some word of advice or guidance to help your team to stay away from those type of situations, and for any other coach who may not have seen that situation yet from that program?
Yeah, pretty much spend a few extra time explaining to people about commitment. Let's use Jackson. Jackson have made a commitment to these players with scholarship. They owe restitution to Jackson. They have to play. You got me? And play the game the right way. Fighting is not playing the game the right way. You got me? Then you tell them about the word I'm looking for. About how they should act and carry themselves on the field. You can't fight. You can't get into the altercation and think it's going to have benefits. It has no benefits. Other than get somebody suspended, now we lose them people. We can't play with a full deck now. You got me? I mean, that's just so sad. It really is so sad, you know.
And my thing, you know, as a coach, you can tell, you can read the temperature before we get out there to shake hands at the end of the game. You've seen it the whole game, because as an official, I deal with it all game long. So by the time it's the end of the game, it's already understood, hey, it's probably best these two teams don't shake hands, because all game they have been jaw-jacking. We've had to separate them. You already know it's boiling over. There's something that you have to see as a coach to stop it before it even gets started. Hey, y'all go to the locker room, I'll go out, shake coach hand, and we'll end it at that. But in all of these situations, both teams were midfield or somewhere right next to each other, and it was just back and forth until somebody finally got tired of the back and forth. You get a push, you get a swing, and there you go. It's unstoppable at that point.
All of them were close to in the second half or toward the end of the game.
Well, at the end of the game, you know, when you go shake hands, you know, you talk to, but in all of these situations, both teams were literally in each other's face, midfield, just going back and forth.
Yeah, but where were they in the game?
It was the end of the game.
Oh, it was the end. All of them.
All of this has happened at the end of the game. So you got full teams out there midfield.
The coaches got the right herd on that, because, come on, man, it has nothing to do with the game at that point. It's egos. You got me? You know, can't do that. Just can't do that. I mean, you hurt your team opportunity. Now, you know, Jackson could get up, fool around and lose that momentum. If I was a coach coaching against him, I said, I hope so.
Oh man, that's funny, you know. So here we go. We got in both teams, Jackson and Alabama State, the suspensions coming. They both fined $25,000 a piece out of their program. So that's the other thing, losing some money from a program in which you're trying to bring in money.
Yeah.
So
25,000. It's a drop in the head in the SEC, huh?
Yeah, but in the SWAC, the SWAC shoe, that $25,000 is much needed. So.
Oh, that's a lot of money for the SWAC.
Yes, sir. Let's get ready to take a break, everybody. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation and more. Chopping it up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient. They're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. Even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
Get the memoir from the legendary baseball coach from Southern University, Roger Cador, Against All Odds. Roger refused to let his past dictate his future by rising to legendary college baseball status. An inspiring story of tenacity, faith, and hope. Against All Odds chronicles Coach Cador's determination to reach higher, to want more, and to dig deeper to find the courage to chase his dreams. Against All Odds. Get yours today by Cador & Cador Publishing. You are now watching Choppin' It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
Look, you got me saying the Jaguars because you're yelling out. We're back aboard Choppin' It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White. Of course, I'm Perry White. He's the man, the myth, the legend, Roger Cador. Coach, you just yelling out stuff, throwing me out.
Hey, man, I'm trying to see if you're on up and moving.
You know I'm up and moving, man. Are you up and moving? That's the thing. We're both up and moving. Let me talk to you about a passing this week. Southern University legend, also NBA. Bob Love, played right here at Southern University. You said he had came through right before you, but you always have a great way of being able to tell a story about someone and giving some perspective about a person. Talk to me and everybody out there about Bob Love.
Well, they call him Butter Bean because he was 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", and thin as a butter bean. And it came from Northern Louisiana. What people don't know about Bob Love is that he was really a good quarterback.
Really?
Yeah, it goes to show you. People don't know that. And he came to Southern and played under Coach Dick Mack, who recruited me for basketball. I played for the same coach. And but Butterbean really did well, and he never gave up. Now, Butterbean is a great human interest story. Butterbean had a stutter problem. That's what we call it, stuttered. When you stuttered, what we call it.
That's it. Speech impediment.
Yeah, speech impediment. And he lived with that for years. Like many players in the NBA, Bob got broke, which so many of them did. Of course, they never made that much money when he was playing, but he was broke. Rather than go on the street, Bob went to a restaurant and washed dishes. Was a busboy. How many people gonna do that? You tell me. They'd rather go on the street and beg, but not Bob Butterbean Love. He went in there and washed dishes. And the man was so impressed, the owner, he gave him a job and then helped him work with his speech impediment. And he became a greeter at the restaurant. And he ended up doing well. His life changed and turned around. He wrote a book because he wanted people to know about his story, his trial and tribulation, that life is not as easy as people. Life is not hard, but it does have challenging events. You know what I'm saying? And God, Jehovah God, only gave us two decisions, the right one and the wrong one. He didn't make life very difficult.
You either know how to manage it or mismanage it.
Yeah. I mean, he said a right road or the wrong road. I mean, come on. He made it quite simple. So, but Bob Butterbean Love came out of whatever he was in, and until he passed, he was in a good place. He was a really good story, human interest story for people, because he was at the bottom. Can you imagine you play in the NBA and now you're washing dishes. How many people going to do that? Not many.
Especially not these day and age, because everybody will put you on social media and say, look how far you done fallen off, you know, who are you, where are you now type stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, that's probably the foolishness, but that man knew he had to do something to get himself together, and he did.
And you know, you're a basketball guy. Talk about his game, especially here at Southern. What kind of impact that he had here at Southern University from being a ball player here?
Well, his impact wasn't, remember, he was 4 years ahead of me, 5 years. But his impact wasn't as great because the team in the league was Grambling. Grambling ruled the league in basketball.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who was their coach at the time? Who were they led by?
Who, Grambling? Fred Hobby. Fred Hobby got whoever the best basketball players was in Louisiana. I told you the story about how he cursed Dale Brown and them. That's the guy.
No, you didn't tell me that story. Tell me about that.
I told you I had to go to a meeting, and when they had Dale Brown and all the white coaches, they were thinking, and Fred got up and said, let me tell you one thing that, you know, I'm the man that built basketball in Louisiana. It had to be on your show, this show, or I couldn't have dreamed that. We didn't talk about that.
I don't remember you telling me about a Grambling coach cussing out Dale Brown. And
You never heard that we talked about Fred Hobby.
That's my
We
first
talked
time
about Grambling. We did.
We talked about the baseball coach.
Yeah, we talked about him. We talked about Fred Hobby in that segment. You probably don't remember.
Well, bring it back for me, Coach.
Well, the thing, he was the guy who was getting all the players, and I told a story about we were at UL in Lafayette where the meeting was, and Dale Brown and the coach from UL and whoever, and they were trying to, and Hobby said, "Hey, I'm the man here. I'm the man." And you know, they had some heated words in there, and he said a few words that we can't repeat on a family-oriented show like we have here. And but you know. It did. And it all ended up cool. It all ended up right, you know. But Fred wanted them to know. He had already built what they were talking about trying to do.
And Fred had Grambling, and you said the guy that was at Southern was Coach Dick who?
Mack.
Coach Dick Mack. Never heard of Coach Dick Mack.
Yeah, well, he never had the success.
Okay.
He had never had the success.
But he was able to get a guy like Bob Love, and you say his impact here, you know, he ultimately went and played in the NBA. You know, that had to be a special thing to say, hey, man, this guy went to Southern, even with a program that you said may not have had so much success.
Well, it may not, but they had some decent players. They just, how you going to win with what Grambling had, and probably Texas Southern and Jackson State always had good players. You know, so it wasn't, you know, Alcorn. It just wasn't as easy, you know.
It's a different time, you know, and that's the part of the history sometimes that, you know, it's beyond me of the years to be able to know and understand it. So a lot of times I don't get a chance to have conversations with someone who was around to talk about that, because I had no idea about those coaches. And even with Bob Love, you know, before my time, I really didn't know much about him. I've always heard the name, but I didn't quite know, you know, who he was as the basketball player here at Southern, because a lot of times you get to know a guy once they get to the NBA side, but it's the college side that you don't get much of, because during those days you can't find much footage or history of somebody having a story or the footage to be able to watch of them in those days of HBCUs.
Yeah, you know.
Because I love to watch some footage of you hooping back in the day.
I would love to see it too, because, you know, I got to be a pretty good player by the time I was a junior and senior. You know, I was really proud of my advancement in basketball, you know.
What was your game? What was the strength of your game?
Paul Silas. You ever heard of Paul Silas? I bet the neurosurgeon have. Well, Paul Silas was a guy He got all of the garbage basket, the garbage. And we use that because players don't want to get dirty and get. I used to get the rebound, put them back in, and tap in. You know, that's how I made my living.
You the cleanup man.
Cleanup man. I was the cleanup man, and there were a lot of points to be had. You didn't have to work that hard for. You know, it's easier than to go out there and shoot and make it. You know what I'm saying? See, they didn't know that. I knew that. I said, I'm going to go get them balls close to the basket, stick them back in. They count as 2 points too. You got me? That's the way I looked at it.
And it add up.
They add up. I was averaging 10 points and 10 rebounds. Easy.
A double-double.
Double-double. Easy. I wasn't really looking to score, to be honest with you. I wanted to make my teammates happy. Because I had something they didn't have. Baseball. Remember, you got me? Basketball was the only thing they had. And you know how I got to be get the assistant basketball job?
What's that?
In 1980. Oh, well, as a student athlete, 1973, Enid Bean, Mississippi. Never forget it. Cold, wet, ooh, great day. And so and Enid Bean and it's wet, and we sitting on the bus. Guys walking, trying to go, walking in mud. They didn't have grass. I said, I'm staying right here on this bus. It's warm on here. So the Coach Carl Emerson stood. He looking at them guys watching, he said to me, I'm going to start you tonight. I said, no, Coach, you're not starting me tonight. You're going to start AJ. I said, if he don't start, he think he's a failure. For me, I understand that's my role. I want to do it. His eyes got big as could be. How many players going to say that to a coach? They want to start. You got me? I said, no, Coach, AJ want to start. If he don't start, he's not going to be no good to us. So put me in whenever you think. The first time I'd happened with 19 minutes, because we were doing 20 minutes, 19 minutes and 58 seconds. He put me in.
So he started them for 2 seconds?
Yes!
2 seconds, get him out of here. Come on, Cador.
Well, that was the punishment, because I guess he was saying you should have been like Cador. They weren't going to be like me.
Yeah.
I'd already, and you know, that one gesture went a long way, and that made me to be a coach in 1980. He never forgot that. The unselfishness. You got me? You know, a lot of people think about themselves. That's why I'm saying you can't trust them players. They think about themselves. You know, and they'll forget about that team. I had something they didn't have, and I knew I had it. I had baseball.
Yeah.
And when I had baseball, I had something baseball players didn't have. I had basketball. See, I was always a step ahead of them. You got me? I had something. And I got to say, them guys, the baseball team came to support me in the basketball games. You know, they came and support me. I mean, I could really jump pretty good. Block shots, defend, but that's it, man. That's the glory. That's the glory of love. That's the history, and that's the glory of love. That's a song they call, you probably don't know, Too Young.
Yeah, I might be a little too young.
Yeah.
But I have to look it up. I can find anything on the internet these days. All right, let's get ready to take a break, pay some more bills, everybody. We'll be back and close things out with more Coach Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights, gravitate towards something out of this world, even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
Get the memoir from the legendary baseball coach from Southern University, Roger Cador, Against All Odds. Roger refused to let his past dictate his future by rising to legendary college baseball status. An inspiring story of tenacity, faith, and hope. Against All Odds chronicles Coach Cador's determination to reach higher, to want more, and to dig deeper to find the courage to chase his dreams. Against All Odds. Get yours today by Cador and Cador Publishing. You are now watching Chopping It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
Back with more Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White. Hope you guys have been enjoying it. Listen, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching via Facebook, go hit that follow and like button on Coach Roger Cador's page. I'm Perry White, of course, he's Roger Cador. Coach, as we get ready to close things out, we're coming on the back end of November. Thanksgiving will be here before you know it. Big rivalry weekend for Southern next week with the Bayou Classic. And just, coming towards the end of the year, things begin to kind of slow down for many. Some people it speeds up, but for you, what is this end of the year is going to be looking like for you as we coming towards December, which Garrett and I both love December. Our birthdays in December during the same week, so that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, I'll be doing a clinic in Panama for the young kids over there with Major League Baseball, and seem like, and we do turkey. We'll be cooking turkeys for Thanksgiving and Christmas with the district attorney, Hilla Moore. We do turkeys. I've been doing that for about 12 years. So we do turkeys.
What I got to do to come get a turkey?
Well, I'll tell you off of the air.
Okay.
Because we can't have everybody. I mean, you can only do so much.
Yeah, I'm right. That's right. Right.
We only have so many workers.
Yeah.
And you can't put that out there you know.
Yeah.
And people show up, and
I totally understand. You don't want to be overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, since you asked, we'll talk to you.
Okay. The weather's still warm this time of the year, a little bit, isn't it?
Warmer than usual.
Yeah.
I was talking with my son about that. Said this is warmer than usual.
Yeah, I was talking to you, what was that, sometime this weekend or last week? You was out looking at the water and stuff. I said, yeah, man, November, the fact that you just sit out and be able to enjoy that, man, it just lets you know. But things are supposed to cool off starting tomorrow. It's going to kind of drop down to the 60s and I think 40s at night. But it's still going to kind of be hovering around that 60s, 70s for the next week or so. So should be some beautiful weather next week to be down in New Orleans and enjoy it. When was the last time you attended the Bayou Classic?
I can't remember.
Oh, Lord.
Let's say 10 years ago, maybe less.
Well, don't worry. I have enough fun for you as well as eat enough food for you.
I know you will.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It'll be a minute before I go back to a Bayou Classic. I mean, the crowd is just too much. It's better, it's better for me to watch it at home.
Eating your filet mignon, enjoying yourself.
There you go, sir.
Well, all right, everybody. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's show, man. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and hit that follow and like on Coach Roger Cador's Facebook page. Good to have you guys with us each and every week. And as we get ready to close this thing out, Coach, you got any last words for the people out there?
I know I've been getting a lot of Instagram messages. I don't even know how to get back to you. But I appreciate it. Y'all keep loving me out there. But I'm not tech savvy.
Yeah.
So.
Now you got to call him now. Listen, you better pick up the phone, or if not, he's gonna call you. So
I got to call him.
No, I'm saying I'm talking about your best way of how you do communicate.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna pick up that phone and make a phone call.
Yeah. Text messages too. I do text. So let's keep it moving. We're gonna make this show bigger and better. We're gonna keep getting better as we go along and bring in interesting article things that people can enjoy.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed us, and before we get ready to get out of here, always, Coach, you got to do it. Hey, we'll see you guys next week.
Get the memoir from the legendary baseball coach from Southern University, Roger Cador, Against All Odds. Roger refused to let his past dictate his future by rising to legendary college